right. Welcome to the Fantasy Formula 1 podcast. I'm Paul. That's Ben. And this is the podcast where we use fake money to buy real F1 teams to win imaginary points. I had such a good record.
Yeah, no, you were solid there for a second.
I blame it on the break, the fact that we've taken a couple weeks off.
Yeah, F1's been away, so we've been away, but now F1's back.
Last week, we talked about the drivers, who's doing good, who's doing bad. I really wanted this week to be about constructors.
Yep.
But then I realized as I was getting all that information together that we've already gone over it ad nauseum.
Oh, we have, yeah.
We have. And the stats didn't change any of it. You still have Red Bull Racing, that's the top of the points, but not doing as well as they used to. The reason why they're still in the lead is because of Max Verstappen. You have McLaren, that is arguably the fastest team jointly right now.
Sure. Yeah,
and you have
mutually strong performance between the two drivers.
Yeah.
And and they've definitely been on their ascension this entire season, and I don't see anything slowing them down right now.
Completely agree.
And again, the kind of the new hotness has been Mercedes over the last 4 weeks. There's been some up and down moments. There's been some drama, but they've definitely come back to play. I think the most laggy team, laggy constructor so far has been Ferrari. It's like, well, they're still good. They're still right there.
Yep.
But they haven't made any big, sexy moves. I got you.
But really all I want to do for today, since nothing much has changed in the constructor world, is I want to kind of put the noise of who's going where and what's happening next year aside and just talk about our team builds for the start of the second half of the season.
No, that's a great idea. So, but before we get into that, I have used the break in true fashion where I've been a little unplugged from any goings on. Have there been any major developments or rumblings within the F1 community that you're aware of that might make you kind of go, oh, we have to rethink everything, or at least give you a reason to speculate?
No.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. There's been some, like, for example, Liam Lawson is going to be driving for a Red Bull next year.
Oh, okay.
That they announced that. Very cryptic. They don't know who he's going to be driving for.
It's going to be Baby RB.
You'd think it has to be, right?
I think Yuki Tsunoda would be properly and totally justifiably super angry if they're like, you know what, Liam Lawson, you had to wait a while. Come on up, buddy. I think he'd be a little miffed.
Yeah.
So.
And Oscar Piastri drove with a broken rib, evidently, for a while. No one knew about it.
Oh, wow.
Because there's not much they can do about it. Like, you broke your rib.
No,
So,
yeah.
And it was actually anyway. So beyond that, nothing crazy that's impacting this. Like Sergio Perez is still in the seat. Danny Ricciardo is still in the seat. Yuki Tsunoda is still in the seat. Like there haven't been any big changes. I know I not fell victim to the hype. I was thinking ahead about the hype about Danny Rick driving for Red Bull. Like there was a little bit of talk right at the season break that Danny Rick was going, and I was like, you know what? If he is, that's going to be huge. And I didn't trust the Fantasy F1 website to not jump up his value if he's going to be sitting in a no-kidding Red Bull.
Sure.
So I got him on a couple of my teams, and it didn't pan out. So now I have Danny Rick on my team, which is fine. It's just a different gamble than I normally take.
But you know what I would love? Kind of. We've been dogging on him so much the last couple months, and everyone has been, but I would love it if we found out that, like, Sergio Perez over these last 3 weeks has been, like, on an isolation retreat.
Right.
Just unplugged from everything, hasn't spoken a word to another human for a while.
Yeah.
Has been communing with nature. And he just comes back as like this mystical figure, and he just destroys it.
Great? That would be wonderful.
And after he does his donuts, after his victory, he comes out, puts his hands out, and the birds all like land on his arms. I think that'd be incredible.
That would be great.
I would
love that.
I would love to see a Sergio Perez-essence.
Yes.
That would be the best.
That would be, can you imagine? That'd be great. And again, hopefully he does, right? Because I know this is Max Verstappen's track.
Okay, yeah.
I think.
Because it's the Netherlands.
Yeah,
yeah, yep.
yeah. So we'll see. And this
Dutch.
This is the track that has this big sweeping curve that they have with a big massive sand trap on the outside, and they have, I think, 2 or 3 cranes just sitting in that curve.
Okay.
So that way, when a car goes, not if, but when a car goes into the sand, they just bring the crane in and pull them up.
Nice.
They don't have to stop the race too long.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. So, which is pretty sick.
Yeah. Now, that got me on a sidetrack, though. So the third Austin Powers movie, pretty terrible. But there is the one great Michael Caine line, which is like, there's only 2 things I can't tolerate. People who don't respect each other's cultures and the Dutch.
Right.
You may have noticed, if you are one of the people who watches us, again, thank you. We love you. But we're trying to keep things a lot more lean. So
we're both fathers. We're both parents. We're both husbands. We have stuff going on. And we really love doing this. Like I
sure.
love this. However, we wanted to kind of be more of a reflection of who we are, like the way the natural conversation goes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. So we have this. We're going to be doing this. We might take it on the road a little bit, maybe go to, different living rooms, have kids around, stuff like that.
We're going to find ways to keep this fresh because, again, if you're watching, you have been already in the Fantasy F1 game for a while, and no one new is joining you right now until maybe next season. So we're going to find ways to keep this interesting for you and us.
For sure. So as the values start to go up and go down, and like now will be the last time for at least a few weeks to see what sort of upgrades people are bringing. Like this should be a big watershed moment. If there's any big sweeping changes that come in, it should be now.
Yeah, next week is going to be the oh my gosh, can you believe this happened week. This week is we don't have a secret plan on a whiteboard with a mysterious sheet on it behind us this time. I think if I'm going to ultra summarize what this week looks like, if you've got orange on your team, if you've got that mint green on your team, and maybe one Red Bull somewhere in there, you're doing okay.
Good.
While he's pulling up the points here, I do have to issue one retraction. I think when we were talking about George Russell's weight-based disqualification, I brought up the proposition of making Yuki Tsunoda wear a fat suit to equalize his weight against everyone else. But you actually looked up and found out that there is a specific weight cap for Formula One drivers, and that cap is
80 kilograms.
And for those of you who speak American,
2.2 pounds per kilogram.
So roughly 176 pounds is your top weight. We actually last week went out and tested out a new go-kart track.
Yeah.
And I thought we did a good job.
I didn't hit the wall at all.
No.
That was pretty good.
We got in some scuffles with some other angry dads.
We did.
Yeah,
we did. So it was actually one of the comments we got was that they have the weight limit and they put weights in the car. I haven't verified this, but they put weights in the nose of the car to bring the car up to all the same weight in the driver compartment.
Gotcha.
Again, I would need to verify that, but the maximum weight I can be is 80 kilos. So if I'm 80 kilos and you're 70 kilos, verify as for us, but this is the way it sounds to me, is that if you're 70 kilos and I'm 80 kilos, they'll put 10 kilos
in my car.
In your car.
Okay. And that would
don't know
make
if that's
sense.
true.
Yeah.
Which is why as soon as they get out of the car, they go and they weigh themselves. So they're plus or minus whatever.
Gotcha.
But again, we have to verify that. But back to what we're talking about. So it looks like Danny Ricciardo has 40 fantasy points.
Okay.
Yuki Tsunoda has 78.
Wow.
Kevin Magnussen has 87. And Nico Hülkenberg has 76. So yeah, Kevin Magnussen's a little bit above Yuki, but so basically Yuki is right in between both of the Haas drivers, and Danny Rick is about 30 points under.
Yeah, and so Yuki remains kind of the bargain though, just because Kevin Magnussen 87 points, but $11.8 million. Yuki's sitting at 10.9. He's come up significantly over the course of the season, but still,
it all depends on what you want for your top drivers, right? So you have Yuki Tsunoda, you have Haas. Those are the top. Those are a solid 3 group to have, a solid trifecta to have as your base.
Yeah,
and then it just depends on who you want as your constructors and who you want as your lead driver, your driver that gets 2x.
Sure.
As soon as you have McLaren and Mercedes, which are the 2 good constructors, best gambled constructors.
Yes.
Not because Red Bull is expensive.
So I am pretty firmly on either a full Mercedes or a full McLaren or a mix of each.
Gotcha.
So
okay. And so as soon as you have Mercedes and McLaren, that's 26 and 23 million each. You're only at about a little over 50 million left for all your teams.
Correct.
Lando Norris is a little bit over 26 million right now. So that means as soon as you get McLaren, Mercedes, and Lando, or Lewis Hamilton, is about 24 million.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get McLaren, Mercedes, and Lewis, then you're only sitting at about 25 million left for all your other drivers.
Sure.
And then at that point, for one of my teams, I have both Haas drivers and both Red Bull drivers for my baby RB drivers.
So
I got
I have
Yuki and Ricciardo,
full Haas, full V carb, and then
V-carb,
Norris.
thank you. Yeah, and Lando Norris.
Gotcha.
And then another team, I need to change this. So we're gonna do this while we're talking. We're gonna do this live, everybody. Doing it live. I'm getting rid of Haas as a constructor.
Probably a one-time deal.
It was a one-time deal.
They're hot. Let's ride the coattails, see if they can sustain it. And I
Yep.
don't think the expectation was there that that was going to be a long-term move.
No, I hoped it would, but it didn't. So now the big question is, do I go, I don't have enough points to get Mercedes. So do I keep Lando Norris or do I keep Oscar Piastri? I'm gonna gamble and I'm gonna keep Oscar Piastri. Away goes Lando
Interesting.
Norris because I have Lando Norris as the lead driver on one of my other teams.
Gotcha.
So we're going to vary it up. So I'm getting rid of Lando Norris, bringing in McLaren. Now I have 16 million left, and
Well, and that's not enough for either Mercedes driver.
nope. So we're going to look at the rest of the drivers. Who do I have?
Because I think George Russell is the cheapest at 20 right now. So you can afford a Lance Stroll as your priciest boy.
So what I'm going to do? So now what about going both Haas and both VCarb?
That's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Both Haas, both VCarb, and Oscar Piastri.
I kind of like it.
I do.
Well, I think it's putting a lot of faith in Haas. At this point, I feel like again, Nico Hulkenberg's the mutual fund, and Kevin Magnussen is the tech startup.
Yeah.
Like he's either gonna make you rich or he's going to bankrupt you. Nothing in between.
No, I completely agree.
So yeah.
Do I have enough points for it? I'll add DRS boost Oscar Piastri.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a no brainer. But
yeah, for sure.
But then you've got your two solid constructors. And yeah, no, I think
that works.
I think you could do some cool things with that.
We're going to change it. So now for 2 of my 3 teams, I have both Haas and both VCarb.
Interesting though. Your team 1 and team 2, the only difference is which McLaren driver you have.
My third team, right, as Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, Mercedes and McLaren. The only people I can afford is Bottas, Zhou Guanyu, and Sargent.
Which will be fine. So here's the problem: like that's your top 3 guys most likely to DNF. But as long as George Russell and Lewis Hamilton don't, you can kind of handle it.
Then it won't be too bad.
I mean, ideally, none of them do. I think you can count on probably one of those 3 DNFing, either for mechanical reasons because Kick Sauber, or Logan Sargent because Logan Sargent.
Well, and then that's a good point. So what if we get rid of all 4 of them?
Okay.
And just go for the nice both Haas and both Yuki Tsunoda, both VCarb and both Haas, because right now it's the same construction I have all the way across. I have my lead George Russell, who's been doing well, except for that he would have gotten us 100 more points.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Right? So that's why his low score is a little artificial, but he's also cheap.
I think this construct, I feel a lot more comfortable about expecting all of them to at least finish.
Yes.
And when you have 2 good constructors and 1 ace driver, that's just what you want. That's what you want from the rest of the team.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a negative 10 points on this. But anyways, what chips do I have left? I have a limitless.
Oh, there you go.
And I have a no negative. Yes, I want to apply my limitless. That 10 points goes away, but now I get to completely change whoever I have on my team. We're going to get the Flying Dutchman because this is his home race, and he has not lost a race here since it got put back on the calendar.
Oh, I gotcha.
But he also hasn't been in this competitive a field.
That's true.
So then we're going to get Lando Norris, and then we're going to get Oscar Piastri, and then we're going to get Lewis Hamilton. So basically now here are my teams. All 3 teams have Mercedes and McLaren. The first 2 teams all have both VCarb and both Haas as their rank and file, with Norris and Piastri each as their lead drivers. And then I am using my limitless chip to make sure I can have Max Verstappen on my team. So if the Flying Dutchman keeps it going, he can get 2x. And then we also have both Mercedes drivers and both McLaren drivers. So that's my team. Let's go ahead and take a look at your league.
So while you were talking, I was making some changes just to use my team 3 to just swing for the fences in the opposite direction of everything we've been talking about.
Oh, okay. So which team is it called?
No,
just so I can look at it.
I'll go team 1, Newbie Alpha. This is my full Mercedes team with McLaren as a constructor.
Oh, yeah. This is the exact same build that my team 3 had.
Correct. So, yeah. So it's Hamilton, Russell, Mercedes, Zhou Guanyu, Valtteri Bottas, Logan Sargent, and then McLaren.
Okay.
So I'm leaving that alone.
Okay.
Team 2, RB Dragonfruit, is a little bit of an interesting mix here. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I got Hamilton, Piastri, and then again, bottom 3 for cost. And then my constructors are Ferrari and Mercedes.
That's interesting.
This is just in case, what if Ferrari comes out of the blue?
They could.
And, and none of these are mutually exclusive. Piastri could do great. I just won't be able to double dip with him as a constructor.
Yeah.
Hamilton could do great. I've got Mercedes. So this is one of those. I should get points.
You
of some
should.
kind.
You absolutely should, because no one should bet against Ferrari.
Yeah.
I did last season, and it cost me, like in our friends league, it cost me the championship because I didn't believe in Ferrari, and I should have.
Gotcha.
So if there's any team that can pull it out, it's Ferrari.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So my team 3, I'm going the Stathams. They're kind of my my lab rat guinea pigs. I switched things up here pretty significantly. I decided let's go full Ferrari.
Nice. Oh, wait, hold on. So I'm looking at it wrong here.
Yeah, no, here, hit refresh real quick.
But I might be looking at last week. I don't think it'll let me look at what you have right now. Actually, I'm still looking.
Oh,
at
interesting.
past.
Okay. Well, I'll walk you through.
Yeah,
And
perfect.
So I went full Ferrari. I've got Leclerc,
Okay.
and he's my 2X, my DRS. Sainz, and then I got Sargent, Hulkenberg, and Bottas. And then my constructors are Ferrari and Mercedes.
Interesting.
So this is like all in on Ferrari.
Okay.
We'll see. Maybe this is the week they have a come to Jesus moment, and they're like, oh no, we can race.
Do you have anything else you want to throw in for this week?
No, I think it's
watch FP3 tomorrow.
It's a pretty chill, lean episode. Looking forward to seeing some race results and getting back into it.
For sure.
It's been too long.
It has. All right, everybody. Talk to you later.
Take care.